Avengers! Assemble.
Are you guys seeing this? Oh my god, I cannot believe I'm seeing this. Smoggy has really outdone themselves this time, guys. Holy! Okay, let's get into it. Wait, that's weird. Who's that on this list? Last Rider Crowd. LRK is no longer just a counter to AoE units, which is great, but I think we'll have to see how much damage the speed buff, plus how frequently he can get his S3 off before we tell if he's actually good.
You're wearing a cape. You're just a cheap fucking knockoff. Oh, no. I'm the upgrade.
The only time I've encountered this guy is when someone cheeses me with Aureus LRK, so I fucking hate him. Lukewarm buff, probably meh at best. Now on to E7's best animated character, Closer Charles. The whole buff is that he can't get countered on S3. Now, in theory, this sounds great since a lot of people tend to pick Closer Charles to set up cleave, but yeah, this guy's 113 speed. Next! Jokes aside, a buff to Closer Charles seems nice since he's definitely a pocket pick character that can CR push and set up cleave, but I think it would have been nice for him to have a way to survive or deal with characters who outspeed him like Acid, Leica, Lua, etc, etc. I wouldn't call this a lukewarm buff because neurons activate when we see uncounterable and we all love uncounterable, but I don't know if this really makes him playable, unfortunately. Hey, is someone mixing up the list? Who the fuck is Ken? Okay, Ken is a weird one. Ken has gone from one of the game's most unused, undesirable characters, comparable to that of Old Timon and Illidan, one of E7's most used staple picks in Ancient Inheritance. So, when I look at a buff that gives him 40 spirit instead of 50 at the start of turn, and him now gaining 40 spirit on S1 instead of needing to kill something to gain it, I think, wow, I don't care. In all seriousness, I've never dabbled with a character like this, but a stun on S2 with a def rake on S1 that ignores effect resist sounds great on paper, but that's exactly how I felt about Shepherdena. Good on paper. So he's probably the exact same for PvE, but who knows, maybe someone runs him on counter for PvP. Either way, he's probably niche at best. Next! Honestly, this character was already being used as a niche cheese knight, and if you look up the definition of cheese, it means dog shit. Now, whether it was being a high effect resist knight who had Holy Sacrifice, died and cleansed with S3, or if you paired her with a high attack unit like Senya and had 300 crit damage to do 30,000 damage on her, this character was always a pocket pick, annoying unit. And that hasn't changed since now Smoggy is leaning into that niche with their brand new idea. Let's embrace the cheese. Lilias now gains 50 crit chance when hitting with her skill 1 or skill 3, but interestingly now has a way to punish non-attack skills on her S2. Her skill 2 now activates when a non-attack skill is used, cleansing a debuff on Lilias and then provoking a target for 1 turn while giving a 2-turn barrier to herself. Now, what exactly does this mean for you? Yes, now you might be able to take Lilias into Senya and pray to God that you don't get 15%ed and provoke her, assuming she has no immunity. Or maybe you can now disrupt or punish units like Amid or Conqueror Lilias for using a non-attack skill before provoking you or cleansing themselves with their extra turn. Hey, get out of here! And now, for the game's most requested character to be buffed. Yes, you losers, it's finally Illidan's turn! Short summary of this character is that she injures on her S2 and S3 now. Yes, she now has an AoE injury on S3, and when activating the 50% chance to use Punish on skill 1, she also injures. Now, before we all erupt into deciding whether she's good or bad, just remember that this character is already RNG based with her S1 chance to proc. And so, for me, I will hold off judging how good or bad she is until we see her damage numbers. What? Seriously? You want me to tell you if she's good or bad? I mean, fine. I guess she's probably gonna be good against Senya. I don't know who uses this character. The Karina is in the game. She's fire versus water. Like, what? Hey, seriously, I'm gonna fire whoever mixed up this buff list with an imaginary character sheet. Tywin's lifeless body has finally been removed from the Flan clone cemetery and is now finally a knight with a purpose. Now, Tywin is both immune to stun and sleep, and cleanses any stunned or slept target in the back row, while also providing them a barrier and immunity for 2 turns. Additionally, instead of giving himself a defense buff on skill 3 to then remain the only person standing, his defense buff is now team-wide.
Just like me, for real!
On a side note, his EEs have been changed to increase the CR of the ally in the back row by 10% when using S1, or you can increase the size of the S2 barrier by 20%. Okay, this guy kind of looks like he'll take the place of a niche knight like Troublemaker Crozet. Most likely a pocket pick, but who knows, cleansing stun and sleep could be huge against non-Sage Ball anti-cleaves too, maybe? Hey guys, I would talk about Christy right now, but I'm actually being held hostage by the anti-cleavers. Here's a photo of what's been buffed. It looks pretty annoying to me. Toodaloo. And finally, we have 2 newly buffed artifacts. Crown of Glory, aka yet another cheese artifact to punish soul abusers, is back and better than ever. This artifact was definitely beyond niche in the past, but it is now a great damage mitigator for AoE abilities, while also preventing soul users or generators from getting out of hand. This is your final warning. If you pick this artifact, I will cringe and I will die to it. Don't use this artifact, stop chasing me! Ancient Dragon's Legacy. Yeah, so honestly, this might have been one of the most niche, on the fence, not super bad and unusable, but who would ever use it anyway, artifacts that E7 has ever had. And okay, honestly, I spent about 30 minutes trying to figure out who else would gain from reducing skill cooldowns of all allies, while also wanting to deal damage with a crit damage buff, and also has a non-attack skill, and the only person I came up with was Lilius. Problem with it is that you would need someone to use a non-attack skill against you, and even then, you just let someone use their non-attack skill against you. Yeah, maybe my brain deadness has rotted me to my core, but I don't actually know which character can actually make use of this buff in its entirety. To the trash! Well, that's gonna be it for this balance patch update. Smelgate pretty much keeled over and gave every unused character a buff. For those of you begging for a buff to X character, you got your wish. And so, pretty insane patch if I had to say so myself. And as always, boys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Let me know if Smelgate missed a character or if we can all start praising Smelgate for their good balance changes. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.